I did have a very sweet woman on a plane, an older woman, come to me and say, came over to me, and I said, yeah, she's, can I tell my son I was on the plane with Spider-Man? And I was like, you absolutely can. Hi, I'm Jake Gyllenhaal, and I'm here with The Hollywood Reporter, and I am about to share some of my Hollywood firsts. I think it was The Court Jester with Danny Kaye. And I remember watching Danny Kaye and thinking, wow, he's having so much fun. And I don't know if it was a film itself. I think it was really just, as a kid, just watching people perform. And the ones that brought me joy sort of brought me in. Is it telling that I can't remember the first audition that because I was a kid, but I think it was for City Slickers. Wow, I realized I got the first audition I ever, but I was a kid. I think I was 10 years old. I remember flying to, I think it was to Billings, Montana. The first day I shot on that movie, that I was just so in awe. Yeah, I think I just was so excited to be there. I remember that they shot the scene that I was in at John Burroughs High School in Los Angeles, where I grew up. It was pretty near where I grew up, and I played baseball at that high school. And so it was so strange. There were all these like trailers there and stuff, and I have so many memories of that. I've been in many movies I wasn't in certain people's minds. It's very inconsistent, like the movies that people think that they recognize me from. Though I would say consistently, like in that space, it is probably, there is a lot of Donnie Darko, particularly now. There's been I think, there's like a resurgence of a time that was once cool is cool again, So like there's definitely that. I did have a very sweet woman on a plane, an older woman, come to me and say, she said, came over to me and I said, yeah, can I tell my son I was on the plane with Spider-Man? And I was like, you absolutely can. I'm a food person, so I have had some really nice meals. I mean, yeah, big purchase. I mean, I remember buying a house. That was pretty incredible. I lived in Los Angeles at the time, and that was, I just couldn't believe it. I remember the first time a house. I remember Donnie Darko, this film I did. It was such a sort of trippy journey through the whole script, and then putting it into your body and telling it out in 3D in the world. Like I had no idea what it was going to be, and it was also like the first thing that really felt like I felt very, very close to emotionally, and I think that's always scary. That kind of vulnerability. I've been lucky enough to have a number of I guess you could call them mentors in a way. Chris Cooper, when I was making this film October Sky, when I was probably 15, 16 years old. Throughout the years, Chris, has been and always still is so lovely. But when I was working on that movie, he was constantly helping me and giving me advice and support. I also was really, really privileged to know Paul Newman when he was around, and he constantly was just a wonderful support, just a great human being, as we all know. And I think there are a number of hundreds of people, maybe thousands of actors in the business that would probably say the same thing I'm saying about Mr. Newman. I don't really have those regrets. I don't have I think you just slowly start to kind of go, these things are meant. These are my journey. Some people ask me sometimes like, oh, like, was there a role that you were up for, this and that? I'm always like, these are, unless you're doing theater, which I think is a different space, where you're like, people play other roles, they're your own, whatever they are. I'm Jake Gyllenhaal, and those are some of my Hollywood firsts.